Hey YouTube. So anybody looking at tires, you're bound to run into it where you see a name you don't recognize or some collisions in models. And I have a slightly photographic memory, a bit low on film, but I bought the Lionhart LH503 and actually had them for about 18 months on not one but two of my cars. They were nice enough, very quiet. Reasonable gas mileage, reasonable traction, wet and dry. Not something I would want to go through a typhoon in, but we did, and we were fine. But yeah, we got a puncture on one in an irreparable spot. So I'm looking on eBay. Can't find the tire I'm looking for, size-wise. And I keep running into these Lexanis. And I'm not the only one with a photographic memory, because see, your search terms, they are able to do a cross-reference based on visual match. And so, every now and then Amazon shows a very similar wheel to a wheel you might be looking at, or a very similar tire. Different brand, but very similar, if not maybe even identical, because maybe they come from the same people in China. So, you're looking at this picture, probably thinking, what are you talking about? That looks different, but look at the direction of the tread. So right now, you're looking at the back of the tire on the left and the front of the tire on the right. And check out the reviews for a moment between the Lexani and this other guy. Now the ratings, never mind that. Look at the breakdown ratio between 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. They're practically identical. I mean, I know they're not identical, nor would they be, but basically you're looking at almost 90% would buy again, which is part of why I got them in the first place. And one of the tire reviews I read about when I first got these, or was choosing them, said they did pretty well in wet weather, and it came from some Dolentes that did pretty badly in wet weather. So I didn't notice a big difference because there's no definitive standard for measuring these things from a consumer opinion standpoint, and I don't think the ASTM tests are really quite on par. I've seen very comparable tires ASTM wise ride very differently in terms of real experience. So here you go to prove the point from eBay that we're looking at the same tire here. Now you got the same direction twice. And if you look at this tread, that center sipe there, all the way over, a little blade groove effect, and then the arrow effect is identical tire to tire. Identical. All the changes of markings on the sidewall. And they even have the same speed rating. They're 89s. 89Ws. Well, if you look elsewhere, you'll see the speed rating. They're identical. So, yeah, they're also about the same price. But if you're trying to find replacements for either your Lexani or your Lionharts where you had a puncture, rest knowing that they'll be indistinguishable from the other one in terms of general experience. Always replace in pairs, and I would really recommend you avoid used tires. Far better to go with a pair of new ones, just for the cost of what mounting and balancing is. You're wasting your time and money going used. If you have no other choice, that's your decision. But yeah, so there it is. Lexani versus Lionhart, dead tie. And I am in the middle of dealing with this little problem that I have right now. So guess what I'm going to do? All right, good night, y'all.